Hello again, this is Jamie with Great Meyer Leonard Financial, and thank you again for joining me today to talk about some more details concerning the CARES Act loan and withdrawal provisions. So if you joined me last time, we talked broadly about the new withdrawal provisions that were written into the CARES Act, and today we're going to discuss some of the details surrounding that. Specifically, I want to just start out with talking again about who is a qualified person. And that is going to be somebody who has COVID-19, has a spouse or dependent with COVID-19, or has had some adverse financial impacts from having the disease. And I want to, or from the disease and the financial implications. So that third bullet point is what has become a little bit more clarified. And it's going to be someone who has their hours reduced, who is furloughed, or who cannot work due to having to provide childcare. And one thing I want to point out to you, our plan sponsors, is that you are dealing with your specific employee. So even if they have a spouse who is laid off or has work hours reduced or has to stay at home to care for their child, if your specific employee has not been impacted, then he or she is not a qualified person. So please do keep that in mind. And then I also want to revisit the self-certification. Well, we really love that for you, the plan sponsor. We do want to be clear that it was was written into the withdrawal provision that self-certification is allowed. It was not as clear regarding the loans. And while we think that the IRS intended for self-certification for both the COVID withdrawals and the COVID loans, we do just want to disclose that it's not crystal clear. And then finally, again, for someone to be qualified, there's a really good chance that they're going to have to prove they were come tax time in order to take advantage of the favorable tax treatment, including the waiver of the 10% excise tax and the ability to extend tax payments for a 3-year period of time. So again, while it's great for you, the plan sponsor, to use self-certification, we do want the individuals to be aware that that may be a responsibility that falls to them come tax filing next year. So again, to revisit the loans, as you'll recall, there was $100,000 or 100% of your vested account balance that could be taken as a COVID withdrawal. I did want to point out that the amounts are not combined for loans and withdrawals. So if you have someone who has enough in their 401k to take both a $100,000 COVID withdrawal and a $100,000 COVID loan, they can do that. So just do consider that when approving these loans and distributions. And then I also want you again personally, to be thoughtful about how you're classifying folks that may be having reduced hours, whether they're laid off or furloughed. There's not a whole lot of clear guidance here. It's going to be more of a facts and circumstance determination of where are you planning to rehire them, how long is the furlough or the layoff going to last, and are they able to still receive benefits during that time? And the reason I bring this up is because, traditional terminations trigger a distributable event regardless of the situation we're in. And while it may be more favorable for someone to still take a COVID withdrawal because of the tax considerations, if you terminate someone in your record keeping system, that triggers a distributable event. So again, just work with your CPAs and your tax professionals or your ERISA counsel just to really be thoughtful about how you're listing people in the record keeping system. And then we got some clarification on the loan suspension. It was clear that if someone becomes a qualified person, you are to suspend their current loan payments. So if someone has a $5,000 existing loan and comes to you on June 1st and says they have COVID-19 and becomes qualified, then suspend their loan payment. That was clear. What is not as clear is how long that suspension lasts. So is it going to be a calendar year where the suspensions end on December 31st, 2020? Or is it a full year? So if someone, again, comes to you on June 1st of 2020, do you suspend through June 1st of 2021? So more to come on that. And then finally, some other considerations. If you are applying under the Paycheck Protection Program, SBA loans, first, good luck. Second, if you're able to get through the process, then do know that the IRS provided some guidance on the 7th of April that seemed to imply that that money could be used to fund employer retirement contributions. So before you completely suspend your match or discontinue profit sharing, again, consult with your CPA, because there's a good chance that that loan money could be used to fund your retirement contributions and still be considered tax advantaged. And then finally, if you have somebody who takes advantage of the Families First Coronavirus Act, that extended FMLA leave, if that money is still going to hit their W-2, that money is still subject to deferrals. So for instance, if someone is deferring 6% of their normal pay and has to go onto this FMLA for childcare reasons, if they do not reduce their deferrals, then still withhold that 6% deferral and still match on it. So there's obviously a lot still being uncovered and understood about the CARES Act and all of our kind of changing situations. So please know our entire team is here to help you. And here's my specific contact information if you want to discuss anything I've mentioned today or anything that you've received via email or seen in the news. Please don't hesitate to pick up the phone and call. We are all still, definitely looking forward to the day we can meet in person. But until then, continue to look for communication from us via email and through this video, and then I'll be reaching out individually as well. And until we can talk again, I hope everyone stays well, and we'll see you soon.